At my awakening ceremony, the crowd suddenly erupts as three divine pronouncements descend together. Three divine pronouncements at the same time. The students marvel. This awakening blessing is far too sought after. A divine presence addresses me directly. Awakener, your diligent devotion has been felt. The divine voice grants its blessing. Receive the glory of a warrior. Laughter erupts when my result appears. A D-rank warrior. Mockery grows vicious. The #1 genius scored perfectly in every subject for 3 years, yet trash like you suppressed me for 3 whole years. My tormentor laughs even harder. Nathan, from now on, fall into the dust. A visiting official turns toward Xavier, our school principal. Principal Xavier, is this really the #1 genius you mentioned? The choice answers my refusal. I refuse, the voice replies. Wise choice. Another divine pronouncement resounds. Intelligent awakener, become the black blade that pierces the void. At the ceremony, a dark totem materializes above the platform. The spectators stare upward in stunned silence. One observer recognizes its shape and shouts. That totem represents an S-rank profession, the shadow assassin. Excited murmurs immediately sweep through the crowd. One shaken observer stammers at the impossible sight. This is absolutely impossible. Another spectator studies the phenomenon and exclaims, "Good lad, that is definitely an S-rank profession." A third presence reaches me with an overwhelming introduction. Awakener, my name is Reed, god of death. Reed offers power beyond ordinary professions. Submit to me, and receive the power to control life and death. The third option appears. Submit to Reed and change professions into the SSS-Rank Undead catastrophe. Meanwhile, an urgent report interrupts my new talent notice. Talent skill, Reed's messenger, which can be summoned. Investigators confirm that the apocalyptic scene above everyone's heads comes from a profession changer in the nation. The report identifies me as Nathan, a student from the Awakener School. My earth-shattering apocalyptic phenomenon causes a national sensation, while the strange vision spreads across the entire nation. Elsewhere, reporters broadcast live from the awakening ceremony. A correspondent faces the sealed phenomenon and announces, "Viewers, Nathan from the Awakener School has triggered a necromantic catastrophe during his awakening. Sir, thankfully you acted quickly and sealed it away. Otherwise, the hungry wolves in the West would already have heard about him." At that same moment, the overwhelmed observers panic. What kind of monster could cause such a terrifying phenomenon? We cannot hold on much longer. At the observation post, an official orders, "Send investigators now. The police must seize whoever caused this. Crush anyone who interferes." Back at the ceremony, an official laughs and addresses our principal. "Principal Xavier, your century-old school truly deserves its reputation for nurturing talent. You have cultivated a fine seedling." The principal gestures toward me and says, "Nathan has always been a key talent cultivated by our school." The officials assess my remaining option. A fourth profession choice is unheard of, but this momentum suggests C rank at most. One official seeks reassurance. "Principal Xavier, your student will choose correctly, right?" At the ceremony, the principal answers the worried official with complete confidence. "President, rest assured, our school's profession planning course has always been top-notch. Every student receives careful guidance before making a choice, so Nathan's decision will be absolutely foolproof." Then an unknown voice reaches me alone. "Are you also a transmigrator from Earth? How does this stranger know my background?" The unknown voice warns, "Never follow the gods. Everything is their conspiracy. We are all pawns, and we are all victims." The warning becomes a startling declaration. Gods can also be killed, and mortals can also become gods. A final path appears. Choice 4, reject the gods' blessings and become abandoned by the gods. The unknown profession unfolds before me. Artifact user, initial talent, incomplete divine essence. Slain targets can be sacrificed, their heart fire plundered, along with attributes and talents. The implications leave me breathless. Gods possess health bars too, meaning my talent can affect them. By sacrificing slain targets, I can keep taking their strength, attributes, and talents. Enough growth may place me beside the gods, or perhaps let me become one. The crowd realizes my decision. He rejected the scourge? Is that kid stupid? Another observer scoffs. He is still too young and impetuous. The ridicule turns toward Walter, an awakener from the Blackhawks organization. "You would not recruit this trash, would you?" Walter sneers. The Blackhawks are no garbage dump. The scandal spreads immediately. Even a god cannot feed him. Genius student Nathan chose rotten cornbread from an imperial feast. The jeering continues. "That Awakener school's education is a joke. Nathan, you have been smug for far too many years." At the ceremony, the jeering student points toward the coming challenge and delivers one final threat. "Nathan, once you enter the Awakener trial dungeon, you had better learn how to grovel. A useless dog like you belongs beneath everyone else's feet." Later, inside the Awakener trial dungeon, a system announcement sounds. "New Awakener, you have entered the trial tower." Inside the Awakener trial dungeon, I obey the system and open my attribute panel. The displayed values are painfully low. Every basic attribute confirms the same ugly truth. Despite my unusual profession and talent, my current body remains pitifully weak for a newly awakened fighter. Ahead, a group of goblins blocks my path. Their weak bodies make them ideal first targets for testing the sacrifice talent. Instead of retreating, I focus on the nearest creature and grin. Goblins. Good. Let's find out exactly what their heartfire gives me. Examining the nearest goblin, I find that it has exactly 100 HP. My current damage means 4 clean attacks should kill it. That makes the battle manageable, even with my miserable starting attributes. I close the distance, avoid its crude weapon, and strike until its health finally empties. The sacrifice talent activates over the corpse, drawing out a burning goblin heart fire. Its energy pours directly into me. My strength rises by 100 points at once, far beyond anything a normal beginner should gain from such a weak monster. The result confirms the true value of my profession. Every defeated enemy can become fuel, and even the lowest creatures can permanently strengthen me. One goblin already transforms my combat ability. An entire floor of them could push it much further. I tighten my grip and turn toward the remaining pack. They no longer look like obstacles. They look like a field of attributes waiting to be harvested. Facing the remaining goblins, I test the strength gained from their fallen companion. The creatures rush together, crude weapons raised, but their movements now seem slow. I choose the nearest target, shift my weight forward, and command my power. Go! The attack launches with far more force than before. It tears into the formation and drives the goblins backward. Their loose defense exposes fresh openings, while every potential kill promises another heart fire. I press forward instead of giving them time to regroup. With my strength increasing after each sacrifice, the balance of the battle changes by the moment. What begins as a dangerous pack quickly becomes a source of power, and I aim for the weakest point in their line. A goblin lunges too far and drops its guard. I catch the opening before it can recover. Driving straight toward its exposed body, I shout, "Your flaw is showing." My weapon strikes the unprotected point with full force. I inspect the damage and lower my weapon. See? The skill cuts defense by 50%, but its cost is too high. After the battle, the captured fire seed stirs. Its energy circles my talent instead of dispersing. Golden flames gather around the dormant ability. They feel less like power than refinement. I guide the energy closer and watch it respond. The talent's structure begins changing beneath the flames. Understanding the connection, I ask, so the fire seed is meant for enhancement? The first enhancement transforms my profession immediately. 2 top-tier talents emerge from a single upgrade. Their effects exceed anything my original profession promises. I test each description and confirm the results. This is no temporary bonus or lucky mutation. The fire seed can reshape my entire path. Excitement rises as another level becomes possible. Studying the next threshold, I wonder, one enhancement grants 2 talents this powerful. What surprises will the second level bring? The nearest vine has only 30 HP. Fresh vines erupt throughout the second level. I cut one apart, but several replace it. Their health remains low, yet their numbers multiply. Every cleared gap closes before I cross it. Roots coil behind me, while tendrils block retreat. I carve through another cluster and keep moving. More vines immediately rise beyond the fallen ones. Facing the endless growth, I demand, is this all the second-level monsters can do? Why do they never end? The multiplying vines close every path around me. Their tendrils weave into a tightening green wall. An ordinary awakener would quickly lose all room. Each destroyed vine, however, feeds my growing strength. I smash through one cluster and pivot sharply. Another wave reaches for my arms and legs. Cutting it down, I laugh and challenge them. No matter how many appear, you still cannot stop me. The mother tree restores 100 health every 7 seconds, while its vines multiply endlessly. I laugh. With 50,000 health, it slowly wears down every class without strong damage. At the tower's entrance, this monster means certain death. Now its mountain-covering vines have only 30 HP each. They're practically a perpetual motion machine tailor-made for me. Even so, the design infuriates me. Damn it, who the hell designed this year's Tower of Broken Hearts? Meanwhile, among the observers, an official surveys the devastation. The first level already wipes out a huge portion. Principal, check the second level immediately. What the hell is happening there? At first glance, the next floor seems almost benign. Then recognition strikes. Good heavens, that's an undying tree spirit. The revelation horrifies everyone. Even level 10 classes must avoid it unless they're in a party. Who puts that thing on the second level? The observers see exactly what this means. That monster is ridiculous. Once it appears, every support class is doomed. All our promising talents are finished. Amazing skills are useless against a pure damage-dealing tank like that wooden dummy. Yet the supposedly impossible battle continues. No class in the game can kill the mother tree. How is this possible? The attack frequency is twice that of the lower levels. Beyond the dungeon, an analyst tracks every number. The mother tree restores 100 health each second. My repeated attacks still exceed that constant recovery. Finishing the calculation, the analyst declares, after regeneration, he deals 70 effective damage each second. He can actually kill it through the trap. Inside, I keep cutting through the endless vines. Their poison burns, but my rhythm never breaks. The enormous health bar finally reaches its end. I drive one last strike into the trunk. The guardian collapses, and sacrifice activates immediately. Brilliant flames gather above the ruined roots. I reach into them and claim the reward. Its quality glows brighter than every previous prize. I inspect the rank twice before believing it. Holding the flame steady, I whisper, the undying tree spirit's heartfire is S-Rank. It truly is S-Rank. Its 4 healing effects all increase 5-fold. The 5-fold increase changes every recovery option available. Even the weakest health potion becomes extraordinarily powerful. A cheap dose can now rival divine medicine. Healing skills receive the same overwhelming improvement. I can turn minor support into life-saving restoration. That advantage makes prolonged battles far less dangerous. Back inside the Awakener trial dungeon, the system announces, "Congratulations, you have killed the 2nd-level guardian. Teleportation to the 3rd level is beginning." Another announcement follows. "Congratulations, you are the 5th Awakener to enter the 3rd level. 47 Awakeners remain inside the trial tower." On the 3rd level, the system updates the count. Tens of thousands originally enter the Awakening trial. Only 47 competitors now remain inside. The first 2 levels eliminate nearly everyone. Even talented Awakeners fail before reaching this point. I listen as another ranking announcement follows. Somehow, I am the 5th challenger arriving here. The swamp banshee floods the 3rd floor with a massive sonic wave. With no room to dodge, I charge through the pain and raise my weapon. Glaring at the creature, I shout, "Let us see which of us lives longer." The banshee's sonic waves keep stripping away health. I answer every blast with another direct attack. Neither side yields as the chamber violently trembles. Its next shriek finally drives my health away. Darkness closes in, and my body falls. Before the banshee can celebrate, resurrection activates. Warm power floods through every damaged part. My wounds vanish as full health returns instantly. I rise while the creature recoils in confusion. Laughing at its reaction, I beckon and say, "Come on, let us do that again." The endurance contest immediately turns against the guardian. Its health keeps falling, while death restores mine. Another wave hits, but I drive forward. My weapon tears through its weakening defense. The banshee attempts one final scream and fails. I finish the battle before its spell forms. Sacrifice draws heartfire from the fallen guardian. Several abilities shimmer inside the captured flame. The second skill grants immunity against disabling effects. It offers protection instead of direct attack power. That support fits a weakness in my collection. I select the skill and absorb its protection. Cool energy settles around my mind and body. Then the dungeon system confirms my victory aloud. Its voice announces, "Congratulations on killing the 3rd-floor guardian." The sealed route ahead opens with a rumble. Carrying the new immunity, I approach the 4th floor. The system moves me onward. 4th floor teleportation in progress. Notice, killing monsters here is unnecessary. The 4th floor presents a different objective. I only need to reach the central teleportation array. Killing monsters here provides no requirement or advantage. After 3 exhausting floors, that sounds almost merciful. The wording still leaves me immediately suspicious. Easy instructions rarely appear this deep inside trials. I inspect the terrain without lowering my guard. Narrow paths twist between several concealed approaches. Any attacker could block the route within seconds. A floor discouraging combat must hide another danger. Tightening my grip, I conclude, this entire floor is definitely a trap. Hidden creatures erupt before I can advance further. They swarm across the route toward the central array. Claws, fangs, and burning bodies fill every opening. I recoil from the first sudden attack. Throwing myself aside, I shout, "My goodness!" The 4th floor creatures rush me without warning. Their bites carry poison and scorching fire together. One wound immediately applies 2 harmful effects. I activate illusionary water step and evade narrowly. A burning jaw snaps shut beside my shoulder. Another creature lunges before my feet fully settle. I twist away, but poison grazes my arm. The stacked effects begin consuming health at once. Reaching the central array now explains the objective. Fighting everything would waste time and movement charges. I weave between snapping jaws and burning fur. Every creature tries forcing me toward another attack. Illusionary water step opens a brief escape route. Its limited uses make each activation critically valuable. I cannot spend one on a harmless feint. Keeping the teleportation array visible, I change direction. Several monsters collide while attempting to follow me. Their crowded formation briefly exposes a narrow gap. I wait until their attacks commit together, then I dash through before the opening closes. More enemies turn and pursue from behind. The array remains distant, but the route finally clears. Among the observers, attention settles on awakened artifact user Nathan. His actions directly contradict the 4th floor warning. Instead of escaping, he remains among the monsters. One official points at the screen and asks, "What is Nathan doing? Did he ignore the warning?" These low-level monsters provide almost no experience. Confused murmurs spread through the viewing area. Back on the 4th floor, my bead responds. Heartfire extraction draws away poison and flames. The monster's strongest effects cannot remain inside me. Burning wounds cool before reaching a fatal depth. poison vanishes as the skill strips it away. Their double affliction becomes another resource for extraction. I stop retreating and test the protection directly. A creature charges with fire rolling across its fur, its jaws open wide, expecting another fleeing target. I hold my position until the final moment. The extraction effect catches its hostile energy immediately. Instead of wearing me down, the monster approaches freely. I raise my weapon and grin at it. Welcoming the reckless charge, I say, it actually comes straight to me. Across the 4th floor, ordinary creatures become lethal traps. Poison coats their fangs and enters every bite. Open flames burn continuously across their rough fur. Touching either end exposes an awakener to danger. One successful charge applies both effects at once. I sidestep another creature and strike its flank. Even a weak monster can exhaust careless challengers here. The entire floor turns survival into constant attrition. I stare across the burning, venomous swarm incredulously. Knocking another attacker away, I demand. Ordinary creatures carry poison, and their fur burns. What madman designed this year's Awakener trial dungeon? Whoever built it expects movement alone to kill us. Meanwhile, among the observers, the same demand spreads. Who designed this year's tower? An official turns toward the principal. Principal, word is that a military big shot came this year. Inside the viewing area, the military visitor sighs. This year's Awakeners cannot clear the 5th floor, much less the hidden floor. Catching that little creature takes tremendous effort. Another official warns, Sir, the 5th floor already holds the adult guardian Jared. The principal presses the visitor. What kind of monster did you catch for the hidden floor? The military big shot remains casual. Nothing special, just a dragon cub. Meanwhile, the 5th floor shakes under heavy impacts. A young master faces the guardian's chained claw attacks. Each blow drives him backward across broken stone. He regains his footing and charges once more. The next strike nearly tears through his guard. Refusing to retreat, he gathers his remaining strength. He drives forward and shouts, "Break through!" Wild laughter follows his desperate commitment. The guardian immediately answers with another punishing combination. One claw forces his defense toward the ceiling. Another sweeps low before he resets his stance. He twists aside, but the 3rd strike lands. His health falls while the guardian maintains pressure. Still, he searches for an opening between attacks. Courage carries him forward, though technique fails him. Outside, observers watch every increasingly desperate exchange. They measure his determination against the guardian's practiced rhythm. Another combination begins before he can recover. He braces himself and attempts the breakthrough again. Among the observers, the young master's weaknesses become obvious. His courage carries him directly into every combination. However, his timing breaks whenever the attacks change. His guard rises late and recovers too slowly. An experienced spectator studies several exchanges carefully. Folding his arms, the spectator judges. The young master's fighting skills still require considerably more practice. Another observer gives the performance a fairer judgment. Jared's chained attacks leave almost no safe opening. Even experienced fighters would struggle against that rhythm. The young master has only recently awakened his profession. Reaching this floor already demonstrates unusual strength and courage. Watching him survive another combination, the observer says, his result is already excellent. A newly awakened fighter cannot avoid every strike in Jared's combination. Elsewhere in the viewing area, attention changes screens. Another contender displays precise movement against the guardian. An observer turns toward school principal Xavier and laughs. Pointing proudly at the performance, he says, "Principal Xavier, that is exactly what we expect from your school's genius." Xavier continues watching without hiding his satisfaction. The contender circles beyond the guardian's reach. Each movement creates space for another controlled strike. An observer follows the flawless rhythm and declares, with movement this skillful and an S-rank control ability, he can certainly clear the 5th level. Pride swells among the school's observers. No, one middle school has finally produced a true talent. This child's future is limitless. Inside the screening area, the contender refuses to stop after securing a strong result. An observer points at the display and protests. He is too greedy. Across the screening area, confidence suddenly collapses. Another contender disappears from the active roster. A shaken observer scans the remaining names twice. The number falls faster than anyone expects. He turns toward the official managing the tally. Raising his voice, he asks, "Director Wade, how many Awakeners remain inside? How many more must be eliminated before this trial ends?" Nearby spectators wait anxiously for the answer. "Principal, our school still has 2 people left." The tally continues. One is Wendy, whose S-rank skill keeps her standing. The other is Nathan, the good-for-nothing who awakened a blank skill and is probably still lingering shamelessly on the 1st level. Before the screening area's main display, an official notices Wendy controlling the distance. Pointing toward her battle, he orders, "Switch the main screen to Wendy immediately. This is kite flow." Before the main screen, Wendy retreats with exquisite control. An admirer cheers, "Beautiful spacing. Well done, Wendy." Then Nathan's damage appears. The admirer leans closer and shouts, "How is that possible? What kind of damage is this? Did Nathan inflict an abnormal status?" The system announces another elimination from the Awakener school. At the screening area, the display posts the final score. 3rd floor. The announcer declares, Awakener Xavier from the school is eliminated on the 3rd floor. Another result follows on the screen. Pointing to it, the announcer adds, the final contender only reaches the 2nd floor. Across the screening area, Wendy suddenly collapses. Reaching toward the display, a spectator shouts, Wendy, get up! The enemy strikes her weakness, and another spectator cries, it hit her weak point. As the creature accelerates, an official warns, it is going berserk. A furious observer protests, nonsense. The principal demands, who designed this year's Awakener trial dungeon? One touch means instant death. Nobody can defeat the 5th floor Ghost Claw Bear, Jared. Near the main display, an official steps before the furious principal and warns, Principal, watch your words. The Alliance's Supreme Council sets this difficulty rating. Stiffening at the revelation, the principal demands, what? Why did nobody tell me sooner? Then someone notices the screen. Wait, why is an Awakener still inside the trial dungeon? Before the main screen, one figure remains active. Every expected contender appears among the eliminated ranks. Even 3 S-Rank Awakeners already leave the dungeon, yet the unknown survivor continues advancing alone. An observer checks the roster, then checks it again. No familiar candidate matches the remaining figure. Confusion spreads throughout the crowded viewing area. Pointing toward the moving silhouette, the observer asks, everyone else is eliminated, including 3 S-Ranks. Who is this person still inside the trial? The crowd waits for identification. The answer appears on screen. Nathan has also reached the 5th floor. My method becomes clear to the watchers. So that's it. He isn't simply keeping his distance and circling. He attacks during the opening when the clumsy monster turns around. Just how strong is Nathan? Look, Jared's health bar isn't dropping under his attacks. One observer protests. It isn't dying instantly. Another insists. Nathan's attacks must cause instant death. A commanding voice silences them. Everyone, quiet. The explanation follows. A health bar that doesn't drop under Nathan's attacks means he inflicted an abnormal status on Jared. That's basic logic. Can't you see it? The teacher scolds them. Were all my combat lessons wasted? Suspicion turns upon him. Teacher Evan, don't protect Nathan out of favoritism. Everyone knows he's merely a basic character. He could never inflict an abnormal status on Jared. The accusations multiply. He must be cheating. Teacher Evan, stop protecting him. Nathan definitely cheated. Across the screening area, angry spectators demand, cancel his score and disqualify him. He is useless trash and cannot reach the 5th floor. Greed sharpens their outrage. The special first-place reward costs a massive investment. Giving it to him would waste everything. Yet someone murmurs, that kid actually manages to do this. Unexpected. The opposition refuses to yield. Principal, regardless of our earlier promises, something so valuable absolutely cannot be wasted on trash. Near the main display, an official turns to the principal and asks, could the trial dungeon have malfunctioned and allowed that student to cheat? Nodding eagerly, another observer insists, Principal, that must be true. Back inside the trial dungeon, the system announces, sacrifice the heartfire of the Ghost Claw Bear. Congratulations, you have cleared every floor of this tower of trials. Hidden floors are available. The hidden levels will not appear on the live stream. So far, the hidden layer contains only 5 levels. Reaching the hidden layer only sharpens my curiosity. I step through the entrance and say, since I'm already here, let me see what monsters await. A dragon cub and dragon knight appear together, stopping me cold. Studying their overwhelming presence, I exclaim, good heavens! Who puts a dragon cub and dragon knight inside a novice trial? Their entrance alone looks incredible. The system presents another notice. Contract conditions have been met. Confirmation is required. The contract appears before me, and I accept immediately. Pressing my hand against its mark, I declare, I sign. Elsewhere, the hidden floor owner watches the carefully prepared surprise disappear. Pointing furiously toward the empty enclosure, the owner complains, take this away, how boring. The surprise captured with such effort does not earn a single glance from the challenger. Elsewhere, the hidden floor owner checks the enclosure and finds it empty. Panic replaces confusion as the missing creature's identity becomes clear. The owner searches around and demands, wait, where is my dragon? The owner recoils from the empty enclosure and cries, my enormous dragon cub was killed? Impossible. Within the hidden floor control area, the owner points toward the silent equipment and protests. How could a newly awakened rookie kill a dragon? The monitoring chip never even triggers an alarm. An order rings out. Open the recording from the 6th hidden level of the Awakener trial dungeon. In the control room, the hidden floor recording begins with an impossible victory. An official watches the 5th floor guardian fall and exclaims, someone actually killed Jared, the ghost claw bear assigned to the 5th level. The footage continues toward an even greater surprise. Then comes an even greater shock. He's signing a contract with a dragon cub. At the dungeon entrance, a watcher stares in disbelief. Who is this lunatic? No newly awakened professional can contract with a dragon. You bastard, leave the dragon cub behind for us. The surrounding raiders shout their agreement. Greed overwhelms their remaining caution. The impossibility deepens. Even a level 200 beast tamer cannot approach it. The truth lands with disastrous force. This newly awakened monster has gained the dragon race's approval. Oh no, a military S-level secret has been ruined. In the control room, an official reacts furiously to the ruined military secret. Pointing at the recording, he demands, "This person should be court-martialed. Give me 5 minutes." Protecting the secret becomes urgent. Nathan from the Awakener School absolutely cannot be exposed. A novice has contracted the young dragon. The danger is immediate. Those lunatics will dissect and study him. It will be a disaster. Connect me to the chief examiner of the Awakener School's trial area. Back at the live screening, the spectators remain oblivious. Their mockery rises again. Nathan must be cheating. Across the live screening, spectators embrace the accusation. Several point toward Nathan's result and shout together, "Investigate Nathan thoroughly. Expose his trick, revoke the result, and punish this cheater severely." Teacher Evan insists. Director Wade, Principal Xavier, I witnessed the record. Teacher Evan holds his ground. Nathan, the awakened artifact user, definitely didn't cheat. Principal Xavier cuts him down before everyone. Watch yourself, Teacher Evan. The podium is no place for you, and you are not permitted to spout nonsense here. With a contemptuous snort, the principal turns toward the chief examiner. Contact the designer of the Awakener trial dungeon immediately. Thoroughly investigate Nathan for cheating, and settle this once and for all. A voice answers the call. Is this the Awakener School's chief examiner? This is the designer of the Awakener trial dungeon. The chief examiner introduces himself at once. Commander, this is the Awakener School's chief examiner. Nathan passed the 5th floor and entered the hidden lair. Did you see it? The designer falters for several beats, then issues a strict order. Seal off this news immediately. No one may learn that Nathan reached a hidden lair. The Awakener trial dungeon has only 5 floors. There is no hidden lair. Do you understand? At the command post, the chief examiner straightens and acknowledges the order. Understood, Commander. I will ensure the news is sealed immediately. Then comes the question. How is this scored? The answer leaves no room for doubt. Nathan remains number 1. The chief examiner recoils. What? How is that calculated? The designer makes it simple. Wasn't he the only person to clear the 5th floor? Of course he's number 1. Understanding at last, the examiner faces the crowd. There were no problems during this trial. Nathan did not cheat and ranks first. As the sole person to clear the 5th floor, he receives a perfect score and the special first place reward. Disbelief erupts around the platform. How is that possible? Chief Examiner, are you mistaken? The military representative immediately confronts Principal Xavier. Are you questioning whether our military's chief examiner practiced favoritism or cheated? Or are you questioning our military's participation in this trial and the design of the Awakener trial dungeon? The challenge silences the accusation completely. Principal Xavier immediately backs down. No. How could anyone possibly question you? At last, I step into view before the waiting crowd. Their argument stops as everyone recognizes the Awakener who truly cleared the trial. I state my identity simply. I'm Nathan. Surprise gives way to excited laughter, and voices call from across the gathering. The real winner has appeared. Congratulations, Nathan. Principal Xavier welcomes me enthusiastically. Congratulations on taking first place in the city's Awakener trial dungeon. You truly deserve to be our Awakener School's outstanding student and pride. The principal summons Director Wade and presents another prize. Nathan, our Awakener School specially prepared 100,000 dragon coins as an extra reward for the trial's first place winner. At the award presentation, the principal finishes explaining the extra prize. He offers the reward to me and says, "We hope this support proves useful as you continue developing your profession and building your future." Accepting the reward, I answer, "Thank you, Principal, for cultivating me. I will work hard and bring glory to our Awakener School." The military representative comes forward next. On behalf of the military, this reward goes to Nathan, the first place winner of the Awakener trial dungeon. This is a weapon and equipment voucher from the city's armory. It can be exchanged for any gold-grade equipment below level 30. That should greatly help your early development. Jealous voices immediately rise from the crowd. Why waste gold-grade weapons and equipment on someone useless? Even if Nathan takes first place in the Awakener trial dungeon, so what? A useless class remains useless. Another voice scoffs. Dungeons will give him his comeuppance. At the award ceremony, contempt follows the announcement of the valuable voucher. One spectator dismisses my profession and scoffs. What use is equipment this good to someone with a useless class? He should stop wasting it and give the voucher away. During the awards ceremony, a spectator laughs at the critic's demand. Gesturing toward my reward, the spectator asks, "Would you give away a gold-grade equipment voucher if it belonged to you?" My schoolmate Vince approaches after 3 years together at school. "During these 3 years, have you ever offended me?" I answer calmly. "You've never offended me. On the contrary, you've always been a very good teacher." His resentment finally surfaces. But have you ever considered how it feels to follow behind you? Every condescending word of guidance feels like charity. Outside the ceremony, Vince finally finishes voicing the resentment built over years of following behind me. He no longer wants advice that feels like charity or praise that reminds him of my superior position. Before leaving, he looks directly at me and delivers his warning. From now on, Nathan, it is your turn to stay humble. Do you understand? I hear the bitterness beneath every word, but he does not wait for an answer. The confrontation ends with him walking away, leaving our years at school behind. Later, at my home, a visitor arrives with an introduction. She greets me at the door and explains, "Hello, Nathan. Teacher Evan gave me your address so I could speak with you directly." Recognizing her surname, I ask, "Miss Chin, what brings you here?" She gets straight to the point. "Are there any guilds you'd like to join?" The prospect is useful but uncertain. A guild would provide stable income, but my awakened class may make every guild reject me. For now, I'll remain a solo player. She points out the problem. Many areas and dungeons are difficult to explore or complete alone. Developing quickly during the early stages will be difficult. Her purpose remains unclear, so I press her. "Miss Kin, what exactly do you want?" She bows. "Dear Nathan, please forgive the offense. The visitor is Bureau Agent Wendy, acting for the corporate group. The plan is to establish a new guild under the group and invite you to join." I challenge her directly. "Wendy, you know that I awakened a blank class, right?" Wendy has already considered that. Yes, but a blank class clearing the 5th floor of the Awakener Trial Dungeon carries even greater significance. The invitation is tempting, but other matters come first. "Thank you for the invitation, but joining a guild is inconvenient while I still have things to handle." Wendy refuses to give up. "Nathan, will you hear my terms first?" My answer remains firm. "Sorry, joining your guild isn't possible." Then her offer lands. The base salary is at least 50,000 dragon coins every month. That amount changes the calculation, but raises another question. Why has the corporate group suddenly decided to enter the professional Awakener Guild business? The answer clarifies her plan. "We are entering the professional Awakener Guild business." Wendy corrects my assumption. "The capital's share cannot accommodate a newcomer. This isn't the corporate group's decision. It's my own." Her specific reason remains conditional. "Agree to join, and you'll learn why. The terms now depend on my freedom, so I state one condition. Then I need the privilege of acting independently. Guild activities that aren't essential may be refused. For the next few days, I'll also leave temporarily and act independently." Wendy checks the limit. "How long is temporary?" My answer is exact. 1 month. She accepts without hesitation. "All right, Nathan, welcome to my guild." At my home, Wendy and I finalize the conditions for joining her future guild. My temporary independence remains protected, while she gains my commitment after that period ends. We mark the agreement together by saying, "Happy cooperation." As the future guild leader, Wendy then gives me an initiation gift designed to keep communication between us easy and reliable. The contract suddenly opens inside my home. As the dragon cub pushes through and shakes the furniture, I raise both hands and shout, "Watch out, the dragon cub is coming out." The dragon cub climbs completely free without help. Staring at it, I exclaim, "This little dragon actually comes out by itself." Its growth immediately creates a practical concern. Before long, it may not even squeeze through the door. Do we have to spend money on a bigger house? That's extremely expensive. At my home, my guest stares at the dragon cub and exclaims, "What an incredible dragon!" Heat rolls from its body before she can approach. I pull her back and warn, "Do not provoke him. Watch out, he is hot." Flame bursts from the cub's mouth. I rush between it and the furniture. What am I doing with a dragon that breathes fire? Even feeding him seems dangerous. He might burn himself eating. I haven't had one bite from the food stocked for half a month. At my home, the dragon cub tears through the supplies I stored for half a month. Every mouthful makes the remaining pile shrink faster, and replacing it will cost more than I can comfortably afford. I watch another portion disappear and groan. Raising a dragon truly is expensive. My goodness. At only level 5, the dragon cub already has a staggering 30,000 HP. Even as a juvenile, his S-rank dragon breath shows incredible talent, making him comparable to a gold rank boss already. That ridiculous defense and enormous HP completely crush every professional in the current class. With this little guy beside me, don't I have a naturally invincible tank? At my home, I try establishing authority over the dragon cub. Standing firmly before it, I point toward the floor and command, "Dragon cub, sit down." The cub reacts before I can prepare, and its response sends me stumbling backward. A startled scream escapes me. "Ah!" I clear my throat. "Hey!" The cub remains too lazy to acknowledge me. At my home, the dragon cub ignores every attempt I make to command it. I reconsider my approach instead of blaming the contract. Perhaps the problem lies in how I am treating it. Obsidian dragons are known as the proudest and most arrogant dragon species, so ordinary orders may only offend its nature. I study its dismissive posture and search for a method that respects its pride without surrendering control. The stable bond leaves me puzzled. Examining the effortless contract, I murmur, "Interesting. How does a blank skilled professional contract a dragon species? Before long, carrying the strain becomes almost unbearable. Every step sends pain through my exhausted muscles, and my knees threaten to buckle beneath me. I stagger forward and complain. My legs are about to be crippled. Heat churns through my stomach like a furnace. I press one hand against the burning ache. The monster's scales still chill my other palm. That impossible contrast makes me recoil. What kind of monster burns inside but freezes outside? Inside the dusty shop, I set aside a cumbersome tower shield. It blocks direct blows but fails against attacks spreading around me. Dodging cannot solve every sudden danger, either. I need something that attacks and defends. Beneath an old cloth, I find a compact riding shield with a reinforced edge. It follows my arm without slowing my steps. I tighten its straps and swing it once. A good blade deserves proper use. A true weapon must defend and attack. The shield catches an imagined strike, then drives forward like a weapon. I grin. There it is. I found a riding shield. The top quality work of White Tiger City's blacksmith family is gathering dust here. This is a great deal for me. Turning the weapon over, I inspect both faces. One side curves upward for aerial impacts, the other angles forward for charging strikes. Their purpose matches my fighting style perfectly. I secure the grip and grin. This is the one. This side handles aerial attacks, and the other supports forward follow-up shots. A map seller notices my awakened status. Are you newly awakened? Want a leveling area map marked with the latest monster spawn points? His pitch continues. Only 50 dragon coins each. These are all this year's latest maps. The seller presents everything together. Here's a map, plus the latest information about every guild's leveling areas. The seller studies my reaction and brightens. He taps the fresh markings across the map. You clearly know valuable intelligence. These details emerged only last night. Every leveling area controlled by the 4 major guilds appears here. His finger traces each boundary carefully. My enemies come clearly into focus. The Awakener Walter is a fool who relies entirely on underhanded tactics, while the cunning Vince takes other people's kindness for granted. The Hegemony Guild certainly possesses wealth and power, with resources bought through money, but the 4 major guilds would never risk their reputations by hunting a random player like me for a newbie. This time, you're in the open, and I'm in the shadows. Their public movements give me the stronger position. They cannot see what I prepare in secret. Other Awakeners may defeat monsters through steady grinding. My path depends on planning each advantage beforehand. Potions, toxins, and supplies matter more than pride. I check my remaining money and turn toward the shops. Before hunting anything, I stock up. Later, the city gate rises before me. Beyond it, wilderness roads divide towards several hunting grounds. I choose the abandoned mines without hesitation. Their winding tunnels provide countless hiding places. Broken passages also restrict anyone following me. Walter and Vince may consider themselves hunters. Inside those mines, they become perfect toxin targets. I adjust my riding shield and approach registration. A gate guard raises one hand. Hey, next traveler, step forward. Everyone leaving the city must register. I join the line and prepare my identification. The guard makes the consequence explicit. Anyone identified as an enemy spy will be killed on the spot. The guard checks my identification twice. His eyes pause on my recorded level. Concern tightens his expression as he studies my equipment. Several better-equipped Awakeners pass through nearby. Compared with them, I probably resemble an overconfident beginner. He returns the document but blocks my path. You're entering the wilderness at level 15? Kid, those monsters don't care about guild protection. They won't spare you because of your background. Stay alert and return before nightfall. I secure the document inside my coat. His warning sounds sincere, not mocking. Still, turning back would waste everything prepared today. I check the shield straps once more. Potions remain within easy reach at my waist. The abandoned mines offer exactly what I need. Meeting the guard's gaze, I answer calmly. I understand the danger. I'll be careful out there. He finally lowers his arm. The gate opens, and cold wilderness air reaches me. His concern changes nothing. With my current resources, even an A-rank professional is within reach. Unfortunately, aside from beast blood boiling, my arsenal still lacks a one-hit killing attack. Opening my interface, I focus on the burning reserve. Symbols gather into a clear status window. The system announces, checking the fiery value. I hold still while the numbers stabilize. The next assessment follows immediately, checking the skills that can be strengthened. I study exponential growth's rising cost. B to A takes 10 points. A to S takes 100. S to double S takes 1000. Even clearing the entire Awakener trial dungeon, the trial tower, cannot provide enough foundation to fill that gap. Only one option remains. Harvest large quantities of fire seeds. At the ruined mine, cold air rolls from the fractured entrance. Savage traits wait below, ready to strengthen my body. Ghost fire orbs can nourish my flames, while venomous affixes promise sharper weapons. Every useful power belongs to something dangerous. That makes each creature prey worth hunting. I tighten my grip on the riding shield and follow the rails into darkness. Dust stirs around my boots as I declare, whatever can make me stronger becomes mine. At the mine entrance, I study the fractured beams. Loose stones continue falling from the ceiling. Charging straight inside would invite unnecessary danger. I keep near the outer wall and decide, I'll circle the perimeter first. Cracks spread across several supporting pillars. Dust falls whenever the ground trembles. I keep the entrance within easy reach. A deep tunnel could become a grave instantly. Pointing toward the open route, I remind myself, if the mine starts collapsing, I can still escape in time. Near the mine's perimeter, I release Bat Guano toward a hidden creature. The cloud catches it, but its wings falter for only a moment. My shield catches its diving claws. The interface confirms the problem. One bottle no longer suppresses the target. I throw a second dose against the wall. A thicker cloud engulfs the creature and sends it crashing onto the rails. I rush forward and strike before it recovers. The skill still creates openings, but stronger enemies resist it. I keep another bottle ready and decide, the dizziness is weaker, and one bottle is not enough. That is troublesome, but I am keeping this skill. The defeated creature dissolves beside the rails. Its remaining energy pours into my interface. I direct every available spark toward blood-boiling sacrifice. The skill icon flares a violent crimson. Heat spreads from my chest through both arms. My pulse pounds hard enough to blur the tunnel. I brace against the wall and endure it. Layer after layer of energy enters the skill. Each surge strengthens the boiling pressure inside me. The interface rapidly updates its measurements. Numbers climb faster than I expect. My muscles tighten as the transformation settles. Even the shield feels lighter in my grip. A final burst rolls through my bloodstream. Then the oppressive heat becomes controlled power. The system announces, blood-boiling sacrifice increases by 17 levels. I open the detailed panel immediately. Every value confirms the same enormous gain. Damage, endurance, and sacrificial efficiency all rise. The dangerous skill now offers a decisive advantage. I close my fist and feel the strength answer. 17 levels from one harvest changes everything. The mine no longer feels quite as threatening. Something valuable hides inside the fading remains. I plunge my hand through the lingering sparks. Heat bites across my fingers, but I hold firm. The stubborn fragment finally breaks free. Raising it before my interface, I laugh. Finally, I pulled you out. The refined toxin settles into a dark vial. I test one drop against a captured insect. Its body stiffens without losing consciousness. Every limb trembles under overwhelming dizziness. Death would almost feel kinder than that helpless torment. I seal the vial before its fumes spread. Used against a person, this effect could destroy every defense. They would remain aware while balance abandons them. Escape, casting, and counterattacks would become impossible. The thought interests me more than raw damage. A human enemy would find this dizziness unforgettable. I place the vial beside my strongest supplies. A heavy tremor rolls through the mine. Dust bursts from every beam around me. My interface flashes a crimson warning across my vision. The announcement rings through the tunnel. The boss has appeared. I raise my shield and face the approaching footsteps. The boss crashes through a rotten support beam. Splinters scatter while its armored body fills the tunnel. I absorb the first impact with my shield. The force drives both boots through loose gravel. Pain shoots along my shoulder, but I remain upright. A strained breath escapes me. Ah, that hits hard. I shift my stance before it charges again. The boss lunges before my footing recovers. Its claws scrape across the shield rim. I twist aside, but one strike tears my sleeve. Blood warms the skin underneath. The creature immediately turns for another charge. Its speed leaves almost no opening. I retreat behind a broken rail cart. The boss smashes straight through the obstacle. Wood and iron explode around me. I roll beneath the flying debris. My shoulder strikes stone, and fury rises. Damn it, this thing never stops. I force myself upright and prepare the fire. Fire gathers along my raised hand. The boss charges directly into the growing light. I release everything before its claws reach me. Ghost fire supremacy. Pale flames erupt beneath the beast. They coil around its limbs and halt the charge. Its furious scream shakes dust loose overhead. I drive my shield into its exposed chest. The impact throws it backward through the flames. Seeing the attack connect, I shout, "Oh yeah!" Ghost fire closes around every escape route. The boss claws at the ground and searches for darkness. Each opening vanishes beneath another burning arc. I advance behind my shield, keeping steady pressure. Its earlier confidence collapses into frantic retreat. When it turns toward a narrow crack, I block the path. Let's see where you escape this time. The flames surge higher at my command. Beside the filthy drainage channel, the beast recoils from my ghost fire. Years in the gutter harden its body, but every flame makes it tremble. I drive another burning arc toward it and say, "So the old gutter beast truly fears fire." Flames eat through the creature's outer armor. Its movements slow, and one leg buckles. I refuse to give it recovery time. My shield catches the next desperate claw. Turning with the impact, I expose its wounded side. Ghost fire gathers along the sharpened rim. I drive that burning edge forward. While you're weakened, I finish this now. The strike lands, and the beast collapses. Inside the dark tunnel, the fallen beast leaves a new skill behind. The system identifies sonic detection, and I absorb it. A pulse outlines every wall and falling stone. I finally understand the beast's accuracy. No wonder it sees through absolute darkness and predicts every enemy. A faint pulse travels beyond the nearest wall. Its returning echo outlines another tunnel perfectly. Hidden movement becomes visible without any light. I cannot suppress a satisfied grin. Good stuff. This skill solves one of my worst vulnerabilities. No matter how high my output rises, it means nothing if someone stabs me in the back. Knowing beforehand always beats being passively attacked. Inside the mine, sonic detection reveals only nearby movement. I feed stored sparks into it and command, strengthen sonic detection. The pulse reaches farther, but the range still feels inadequate. I add another cluster. That is not enough. Strengthen it again. Sonic detection locks onto every concealed movement inside the mine. Advancing through absolute darkness, I follow the clear outlines returned by each footstep. Stealth cannot hide anyone from me now. Every nearby attacker remains visible to me, while stumbling blindly around me. Power from the strengthened skill changes my route. I no longer need to avoid crowded tunnels. Every monster appears through its movement first. Their nests, patrols, and ambush points become clear. 3 uninterrupted days remain before my next deadline. That is enough time for a complete sweep. I check my toxins and count each fire seed. Supplies remain plentiful after the earlier hunt. The monsters outside the city still believe darkness protects them. Sonic detection strips away that advantage. I tighten my grip and follow the nearest echo. 3 days are enough to make every monster around the city bleed. My first target turns toward me too late. 3 days later, other Awakeners mock the former genius seed Nathan for roaming only through low-level leveling areas. One laughs. Nonsense. Entering a high-level area after awakening a useless class is suicide. He should return to the city and become a blacksmith. Another joins in. Does our former genius seed need someone to guide him? Outside the leveling area, the taunter blocks his classmates. He points toward the distant dungeon entrance and laughs. Call me Dad, and our team might carry you through B-rank dungeons. His companions join the ridicule while Nathan keeps walking. The classmate's face and insult remain fixed in Nathan's memory. Elsewhere, my classmate Vince becomes a minor legion leader. Word is Vince joined Hegemony, one of the 4 major Awakener guilds. Everyone will depend on him now. Vince snorts. Don't worry, we're classmates. Anyone with sense will follow me. At least that beats eating dirt with that useless guy outside the city. Near the city square, the classmates wave Nathan's name away. One spits aside and says, "Don't mention that useless Nathan. Even hearing his name brings bad luck." Their laughter follows immediately. Their attention returns to Vince. He's now a minor legion leader at Hegemony's branch. A new dungeon has appeared in the Crimson Scorpion Desert. Outside the guild branch, one classmate leans close to Vince. Excitement brightens his face as he asks, "Vince, will you take your brothers along for the dungeon's first clear?" Vince accepts without hesitation. Of course, as Hegemony's branch legion leader, every new member is under my command. At the guild branch, the legion leader gestures toward the desert route. Our team will claim the new Red Scorpion Desert Dungeon's first clear reward. The gathered members cheer and begin preparing. Meanwhile, at the new dungeon's side gate, a stranger approaches me. You're newly class changed too, right? Since you're entering alone, why not join our team? Without a tank, one fallen frontline means a wipe. Unmoved, I decline. Sorry, no team for me. The stranger introduces himself. This dungeon is dangerous. More teammates mean more protection. He refuses to give up immediately. Then how about exchanging contact information? At the dungeon entrance, recognition spreads. That terrifying rookie's reputation has already spread everywhere. At the dungeon entrance, a stranger finally recognizes me and recoils. Pulling the team backward, he says, "You're Nathan. Sorry, we'll find someone else." His companions stare. So that really is Nathan. Contempt replaces their interest. He's the fool who chose a useless basic class. Wasn't he first middle school's genius? At the dungeon entrance, several Awakeners inspect my equipment and burst into laughter. One points at my riding shield. "Look at his gear. It is worse than ours." Another calls after me. "Nathan, have you heard about the new dungeon in the desert? Red scorpions infest the whole place." "We are heading there now. Are you coming?" Their mockery follows me, but I keep checking my supplies. One Awakener declines the trip. Going sounds tempting, but today's guild creation approval still needs completing. Outside the dungeon route, another Awakener adjusts his pack. Recruitment papers remain tucked beneath one arm. He cannot join the expedition yet. Before leaving, he warns his companion. The Black Hawk organization and Hegemony Guild already entered the Crimson Scorpion Desert. Handle recruitment first, and be careful traveling alone afterward. The companion nods while watching the crowded road. Both groups clearly expect fierce competition inside. Back at the dungeon entrance, a former classmate recognizes me and blocks my path. He stares in disbelief and demands, "Nathan, what are you doing here?" The ridicule starts immediately. Why isn't this useless class staying in the city? Is he trying to enter the inner circle? At the dungeon gate, another classmate joins the ridicule. He glances toward the ultimate zone and laughs. A blank class awakener doesn't even dare enter the ultimate zone. That's understandable. People who lose their glory always rush to reclaim it. The surrounding group snickers while Nathan remains silent. My classmate Vince steps forward. Nathan, you didn't come with our classmate Laura, did you? Laura belongs with me now. His warning comes next. From now on, you better stay away from her. Our classmate Laura breaks in. Vince, what are you saying before so many people? A snort answers her. Don't worry, Laura. Nathan will never approach you again. I face Laura and expose the flaw in his claim. Well said, but Laura, when did I ever try to approach you? Laura snaps. How long will you keep pretending? Nathan, you're upset because you failed to awaken a good profession. Though we're no longer related, as a classmate, you can have financial compensation, but you must apologize. Vince cuts in. Nathan, look at yourself. You're trash. What makes you think you're worthy of Laura? Vince steps closer and gestures possessively toward Laura. His voice rises so every classmate can hear. Laura is an A-level fire elemental mage. She and Vince form the perfect match. Nathan, you keep clinging to her without shame. Today, you kneel and apologize to Laura. He watches me expectantly, already savoring my humiliation. Laura offers no objection to his demand. The accusations keep coming. You're no powerful figure in the city anymore. Kneel and apologize to your sister-in-law. Laura, you bully her without even looking at what you've become. Their ally Vince receives one order. Cripple him. Calmly, I challenge every accusation. You all claim I insulted him. Which of those words did I actually say? Anyone determined to find fault can always invent a reason. What if I refuse to apologize? Their contempt hardens. Vince, why waste breath on this trash? He dares insult his sister-in-law, so cripple him. The attacker draws his weapon and charges before studying my stance. Rage throws his first swing badly off balance. He snarls. You are asking for death. I raise the riding shield and catch his blade. The impact wrenches his arms aside, leaving his chest exposed. My shield slams into him and sends him stumbling across the sand. Shock replaces his anger. Keeping the sharpened rim aimed at him, I warn. You attack without learning what weapon your opponent carries. That mistake gets people killed. His grip tightens, but his confidence breaks. Around us, every mocking voice falls silent. A former teacher rebukes him. Were all those high school years of teaching you wasted? The attacker refuses to accept the result. No, that's impossible. You're nothing but trash now. At that moment, the dungeon begins opening. Shouldn't there be only one entrance? What's happening? The announcement follows. The Lulan General's tomb dungeon is now open. The opening settles the matter. Since the dungeon is open, there's no reason to waste more time. Outside the open dungeon, hegemony members gather tightly. Their leader checks the entrance and raises his weapon. Rival teams are already moving nearby. He refuses to surrender the first clear reward. Brothers of hegemony, follow me. We clear this dungeon before anyone else. The formation surges forward at his command. Frontline fighters enter first, with ranged members behind them. Their boots disappear into the dark passage. None of them pause to inspect the waiting traps. Meanwhile, inside the dungeon, sonic detection catches movement. 3 separate footfalls approach through the passage. Their pace is fast and poorly concealed. I step beside the treasure chest and face them. Someone's coming. 3 people. The strangers enter with weapons already drawn. Their eyes lock on the chest before noticing me. I rest my shield against its lid. Brothers, this treasure chest isn't yours. Stay back if you understand what's good for you. They spread apart instead of listening. I track every movement through the returning echoes. Inside the dungeon, 3 armed strangers surround the chest. Their leader points his weapon at me and snarls. We 3 brothers have claimed this treasure chest. Get lost and stay out of our way. Inside the trapped chamber, the 3 strangers dismiss me. Their leader snorts and strides toward the chest. That man knows nothing. The treasure is ours. One brother hesitates near the scorched floor. Dark stains and broken stones suggest danger. He raises his weapon and warns, watch your footing. There may be an ambush here. Greed overcomes their caution almost immediately. The leader waves them forward. Stay together and keep moving. Let's go. They enter the marked area without examining its edges. From the passage, I watch their formation tighten. Sonic detection catches the mechanism shifting beneath them. The floor begins reacting to their combined weight. None of the 3 notices the faint vibration. Their cautious brother looks backward once, but continues. The first hidden vent opens beside his boot. Heat bursts from the floor beneath one stranger. Fire wraps around both legs before he retreats. He drops his weapon and screams, "It's hot! My legs are burning!" His brothers freeze beside the triggered trap. Inside the chamber, one brother grabs the burning man. Panic makes the victim fight his grip. The other rummages through their supplies and snaps. Why are you panicking? Drink the antidote. Nothing in the bottle stops the rising heat. He turns toward their missing political commissar and shouts down the passage. Eric, get back here, Eric. Only the victim's screams answer him. The trap continues spreading beneath their feet. Inside the trapped chamber, the floor suddenly splits. One brother sees the opening mechanism and throws himself backward. Pointing toward the collapsing stones, he shouts, "Watch out!" Jordan sees the treasure chest beyond the flames. While his brothers struggle, he darts toward it. Brothers, let me inspect the treasure for everyone. His hands reach eagerly for the golden lid. Behind him, a trapped teammate realizes the betrayal. He stretches one arm toward Jordan and roars, "Damn it, Jordan, come back here." Jordan never slows. Gold already matters more than his companions. Near the treasure chest, the collapsing floor drags Jordan toward the pit. From the ledge, a ruthless man points at his equipment and orders, "Remove your shield and armor. Choose your life or your gear." The abandoned teammate curses him, "Jordan, you deserve to die." His outrage follows. "Teaming up with you was a blind mistake." Beside the trapped chamber, I watch Jordan bargain with the men he abandoned. Stepping closer, I warn them, "Do not relax. It is not that simple." Jordan values the prize above them. What brother or teammate could be worth more than gold-level equipment? Above the pit, Jordan stretches toward the golden rope. His fingertips brush it, but the mechanism drags him lower. He kicks against the wall and urges himself onward. "Just a little more. I nearly have it." The rope shifts beyond his reach. Jordan lunges again and catches one end. For a heartbeat, triumph crosses his face, then the golden fibers tighten around his wrist. The rope pulls downward, instead of lifting him. Horror replaces his greedy smile. What's happening? Stone crumbles beneath his remaining foot. Jordan hangs above the opening as the rope tightens. His earlier confidence vanishes completely. He reaches toward the surviving ledge and screams, "Help me! Political Commissar Eric, pull me up." Eric remains beyond his grasp. Jordan turns toward the other brothers instead. "Brothers, help!" The chest was for everyone. Nobody steps closer to the trap. His voice breaks as the rope drags him lower. "Please save me. There won't be another betrayal." The companions he abandoned only watch. From beyond Jordan's reach, the abandoned companion scoffs. No need to pull me up. Jordan, you despicable villain. Good luck surviving." Jordan thrashes against the rope and screams, "Help me. Please help me." Once safe, Eric addresses me gratefully. "Brother, thank you. All my equipment is gone, and remaining in this dungeon means suicide. I'm leaving now." At the passage entrance, Eric steadies himself and gives me a grateful nod. "The name is Eric. Back in the city, Eric will treat you to a proper meal." Jordan dangles above the dark pit. Most of his equipment lies abandoned behind him. Then a metallic glimmer catches his eye. A golden rope hangs beside the treasure chest. Hope instantly overwhelms his remaining caution. He reaches with both hands and shouts, "A rope! There's a rope right here!" His fingers close around the braided surface. The item resists his first desperate pull. Jordan wraps it around one forearm and tries again. A golden status light appears across the fibers. Greed returns despite his danger. It really is a gold-grade item. He laughs breathlessly and grips tighter. The rope begins moving beneath his hands. Jordan assumes someone is lifting him. He kicks against the wall to help. Instead, the loop slides around his wrist. Another length curls around his waist. The treasure chest clicks open by itself. Darkness stirs beneath the false prize. Jordan finally notices the rope tightening. He tries to release it, but the golden fibers hold firm. His hopeful expression collapses into panic. His desperation amuses me. "Speaking of that, I should thank you for checking the treasure chest for me. I've already scouted what lies ahead, damn it." Jordan changes his tone at once. "Since you've taken the gear, please spare this life. Once outside, Jordan will repay you handsomely." His offer only confirms my judgment. Had you simply cursed me out, I might have mistaken you for a straightforward man and offered a hand. But you risk your teammates for a treasure chest, then surrender gold-tier gear to save yourself. Helping you would only make you turn faster than a page and stab me in the back. Jordan hangs over the pit while the golden rope coils tighter. Every attempt to climb only feeds the trap. He looks toward me with naked desperation. "Brother, we're both awakeners from the same city. Save my life." I remain beside the ledge and watch his hands slip. Jordan tries another appeal. "I'm about to lose my grip. Please, help me." The rope winds around his chest and jerks him lower. Laughter bursts from him, sharp and uncontrolled. For one moment, he seems unable to understand the danger. Then the darkness below answers with rising fire. Jordan's laughter turns into frantic denial. "No, no, no, no." Red light crawls across his armor. He claws at the golden fibers, but they sink deeper. The artifact inside me reacts to the emerging energy. Symbols unfold across my interface. A cold announcement follows. "Sacrificing the heartfire of the human professional Jordan." Jordan hears the words and thrashes harder. "Wait, brother, stop it. Pull me out first." I do not control the trap consuming him. His earlier betrayal has already sealed the outcome. The golden rope drags him beneath the ledge. Fire flashes through the pit and illuminates his terrified face. The artifact completes its work. Sacrifice successful. A fresh spark rises from the darkness. I catch it as Jordan's scream fills the passage. Heat spreads across my palm and enters my reserve. Below, his armor strikes stone several times. The sound grows weaker with every impact. I step closer and use sonic detection. His heartbeat still echoes from the depths. It is faint, but not immediately gone. Jordan gathers enough breath for one final warning. "Brother, be careful. More monsters like this wait farther ahead." His voice breaks after the last word. Another violent movement drags him beyond detection. Silence settles inside the chamber. I examine the new heartfire in my interface. Its energy carries traces of fear, greed, and betrayal. None of that changes its usefulness. The false chest closes above the pit. Its golden rope retracts and resets. Anyone arriving later could trigger it again. I mark the location and recover the equipment Jordan discarded. His shield is damaged, but still valuable. Several armor pieces remain usable as well. After storing them, I face the deeper passage. The warning confirms that stronger traps await. Sonic detection pulses ahead through the stone. Multiple shapes move beyond the next chamber. I raise my riding shield and proceed carefully. Meanwhile, farther back in the tomb passage, another party follows the battle sounds. Broken stones and fading heat mark my route. One awakener studies the destruction with growing concern. He turns toward the captain and points ahead. "Captain, how does that man rush through this place alone?" The rest of the team slows, awaiting an answer. None can see me beyond the next bend. Farther back in the tomb passage, the awakener stares ahead. Fresh damage covers every wall. He grips his weapon and protests. "Captain, charging through alone is far too reckless." In the tomb passage, the captain studies the tracks. He shakes his head. "That man doesn't look reckless." Deeper in the tomb passage, the captain studies my shield and tells the team, "That shield is at least gold grade. He expects to fight the 1,000-legged terracotta warriors alone. He must be an A-rank professional. We have encountered a major figure." At the front, the approaching team reaches my chamber. Their captain studies the enemies gathering ahead, then gestures to a support companion. "Give that fighter a buff." Warm light crosses the passage and settles around me. Strength floods my arms as the lingering fatigue fades. I glance back and say, "Thanks, that timing helps." Ahead, a many-legged monster scrapes across the stone. Sonic detection outlines its body before it emerges. I plant my feet and raise the riding shield. Ghost fire gathers along its reinforced edge, burning brighter beneath the enhancement. The other team holds position behind me, eager to judge my ability from safety. The creature finally lunges through the darkness. I brace for the impact and challenge it. "Come on, let me see what you can do." A voice from the other team breaks the silence. "That weapon carries Holy Spirit armor." I glance toward the shield in my hand. The speaker has mistaken its unusual light for something greater. Before I can answer, the 1,000-legged creature attacks. Its front limbs slam against the reinforced face. Sparks spray across the narrow passage. I absorb the first impact and turn sideways. Several bladed legs scrape harmlessly past my coat. The supporting buff strengthens every movement. I drive the shield upward beneath the creature's head. Its armored body lifts, then crashes against the wall. The watchers retreat from the impact. I remain close enough to prevent recovery. Ghost fire spreads from my palm across the shield rim. The creature twists, exposing rows of vulnerable joints. Sonic detection marks each movement through the smoke. I strike one joint, then another. Two legs collapse beneath its weight. The monster sweeps its remaining limbs toward my waist. I lower the shield and let the attack slide over it. My boots skid, but my stance holds. The team behind me whispers about the equipment again. They believe armor creates this advantage. They cannot sense the strength and skills guiding each response. I release a wider wave of ghost fire. Pale flames flood beneath the creature's shell. It rears back and strikes the ceiling. Loose stones rain across us. I keep moving through the debris. Another shield blow cracks its exposed underside. The creature's rhythm becomes erratic. Sonic detection catches one final lunge before it begins. I step inside the attack and drive forward. Fire erupts through the broken armor. The monster freezes above me, then collapses across the passage. I pull the shield free and inspect its glowing edge. Behind me, the speaker finally understands that the weapon is not ordinary. At the front of the tomb passage, the creature suddenly collapses. Its enormous body strikes the floor and shakes every wall. A watching awakener flinches backward. Dust rolls over the group before anyone can react. Through the haze, my shield remains raised. The startled observer points toward the fallen monster and cries, "Huh, nobody expected the fight to end so quickly." The captain keeps watching me in silence. The artifact announces, "Heart flames from warriors of myriad races and the 1,000-legged ice pupa spark are offered." The sacrifice succeeds. The harvested energy settles into my reserve. I inspect the nearly complete pattern and clench my hand. Only one empty position remains. One more spark, that's all I need. Meanwhile, in the tomb passage, a team member asks, "Captain, should we take this route? We might catch that man. Alone, he cannot have gone far." Concern spreads through the team. If something happens, we can help him. The captain decides, "Let's go. If we find him, he can temporarily join us." In the tomb passage, the captain reorganizes the team. Fresh monster tracks cross the floor ahead. He points along the narrow route and assigns positions. The formation stays unchanged. The captain leads. Scott and another teammate follow. Vince holds the middle. The rear guard watches behind us. Each member moves into place without argument. Weapons rise as they continue forward. Signs of the earlier battle leave the team stunned. That man actually killed a 1,000-legged terracotta warrior alone. "Captain, what kind of monster is he?" The numbers make it worse. Less than an hour has passed, yet he's killed at least 12. Could his output alone exceed our entire team's combined? The captain considers the evidence. That man seems to use a burning attack, but even that cannot possibly produce such overwhelming damage. Every strike only deepens their disbelief. That accuracy and explosive power are simply inhuman. One teammate reaches for an explanation. Could he be an S-level professional, even though only a few exist in the capital city? At the edge of the formation, the teammates exchange uneasy looks. Every explanation fails against the evidence before them. One finally murmurs, "That is really strange." The others fall silent, unable to disagree. The tension soon gives way to laughter. "Young Master Jake, after today's goal is complete, let's drink at the tavern. You're already 18. It's time you learned." The teasing continues. "You like that girl from the sushi shop? Our experienced teammate can advise you tonight." Another member warns, "Captain, don't lead Jake astray." Someone eagerly joins in. "Jake, let me teach you a few tricks." Laughter follows. "Listen to our expert. He's been dumped countless times." Near the rear of the marching formation, the teasing continues until the mock teammate throws up both hands. He protests, "Who says I was dumped?" His companions answer with roaring laughter, and he laughs along despite himself. Then his expression suddenly changes. A dark shape flickers behind another fighter, almost invisible against the surrounding gloom. The mock teammate points past him and shouts, "Brother, watch behind you." The warning comes a heartbeat too late. Steel flashes from empty air, and blood sprays across the stones. Laughter turns into startled cries as the wounded fighter pitches forward. Someone spins toward the attacker but sees only a fading distortion. Another blade darts from concealment and tears through the disrupted rear line. The victim screams, "Careful, there is an assassin." The relaxed formation collapses into confusion. Frontline fighters wheel around, ranged professionals search for a target, and the injured scramble away from the unseen killer. The assassin keeps moving between them, exploiting every gap created by their panic. Beside the wounded fighter, a teammate raises both hands and urgently casts Healing Spell. Warm light immediately pours over the bleeding wound. Across the shattered formation, panic spreads faster than anyone can restore order. A teammate drags the wounded man backward, while another searches the darkness for movement. Nothing appears, yet another slash opens across a fighter's armor. Someone points toward the rear and yells, "The rear guard is under attack." The captain turns toward the disturbance and spots a brief ripple in the air. He calls out, "Scott, use light arrow." Scott gathers light between his palms and fires toward the distortion, but the hidden attacker changes direction before the shot lands. The arrow bursts against the ground, illuminating frightened faces but no enemy. Warning cries overlap from every side. The captain raises his weapon and shouts, "Watch out, keep together and protect the wounded." Inside the broken formation, a desperate caster thrusts both hands toward the distortion. Explosion spell. Fire tears across the stones, but laughter comes from behind him. The assassin taunts, "Killing any one of you is the same." A blade flashes, and another fighter collapses. Clutching his wound, the victim gasps, "Captain, the attacker is a human professional." The captain turns through the smoke, searching every shadow. "Who are you? Why are you attacking us? Come out." Only circling footsteps answer him. Among the dark ruins, the invisible assassin pauses beyond the survivor's reach. His laughter moves around their formation. "You want to know why?" Within the ruined formation, the assassin's unseen voice turns cold. He answers, "Because all of you are nothing but C-rank trash, while my power is A-rank." The survivors tighten around their wounded, but no one can identify where he stands. He continues, "If an A-rank professional wants you dead, then you die. That is all the reason I need." Another blur cuts between two fighters. The captain blocks blindly, and the impact nearly tears the weapon from his hands. He realizes the group cannot survive another exchange. Turning toward the only two companions still capable of moving quickly, the captain shouts, "Vince, Scott, run!" Scott hesitates beside the injured, while Vince looks back at the teammates trapped around their captain. The captain plants himself between them and the shifting distortion. Blood runs down his arm, yet he raises his weapon again. He orders, "Do not stop for us. Get away while I can still hold him here." Behind him, the assassin laughs and closes in. One survivor refuses to abandon the captain. "Captain, go!" Laughter closes in as the desperate invocation begins, sacrificing the heart fire of 1,000 races. Scott's flare sword still cannot locate the invisible assassin. Across the blood-stained ground, Scott tries to retreat with the others, but his injuries make every step slow. The invisible assassin circles past the captain and appears only as a brief bend in the air beside him. Scott turns too late. A hand reaches from concealment, invitingly close, while the killer calls, "Scott, you were too slow just now. Come here and grab my hand." Scott recoils, but the hidden blade follows the offered hand. The assassin's laughter rings through the ruins as another strike knocks Scott down. He lands hard, unable to rise, while the remaining survivors shout his name and search helplessly for the attacker. Vince reaches his fallen companion in panic. "Scott, Scott, how are you?" As I reach the blood-stained clearing, the invisible killer turns toward my footsteps. His outline briefly distorts the air, then disappears again. He laughs from concealment and says, "Ha ha ha ha, you even found yourself a helper." I keep walking toward the wounded survivors, watching for the slightest movement around them. My arrival only excites him further. Now there are just enough people to kill. Near the fallen fighter, Scott sees Vince approaching through the chaos. He reaches out desperately and warns, "Vince, do not come any closer. Run, run now." The assassin studies me through his invisibility. "Ha ha ha, it looks like you're one of the newly awakened too." His cruelty has no clear cause. "What grudge do you have against them? Is exterminating them necessary?" He laughs. "There is no grudge. Killing you is simply fun. You lowly toys can die whenever the mood strikes, so always be prepared." The killer reassesses my presence. "Who do we have here? It turns out there's a problem after all." I let the killer finish boasting, then answer. "I ask one question, and you brag about everything. You are only a pathetic wretch nobody cares about." My insult delights him instead of silencing him. What a smooth talker. Pray this bold is rare indeed. The assassin accepts my challenge without revealing his position. His voice circles through the darkness as he replies, "I hope you can keep that confidence when I come for you." I steady my breathing and let him believe his threat unsettles me. Keeping my attention on the killer, I instruct Vince, at my command to run, rescue your companion. Keeping my posture loose, I review the weakness of my detection method. It works only once before entering cooldown, so I cannot waste it on a feint. I need the assassin close enough to commit before I reveal that I can find him. Playing dumb is the only way to trick him first, I think. The invisible killer watches me pretend to lose track of him. I turn toward the wrong sound and leave an opening beside my ribs. The act convinces him. His restraint breaks into wild, approaching laughter. He cries, "Ha ha ha ha." A faint distortion rushes toward the opening, and I wait until his strike is fully committed before shifting my weight. My prepared defense catches the concealed blade. The assassin recoils and shouts, "A parry!" His surprise exposes him to my counterattack. My defense catches him by surprise. What a parry and counterattack! Ha 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 ha! Confidence returns behind his armor. Lowly trash like you has probably never seen the defense of gold-level equipment. Still, my perception unsettles him. You actually saw through my invisibility. You must have obtained a skill that detects movement. He laughs again. Really, this keeps getting more interesting. His laughter sharpens into mockery. A useless class actually has such a skill. Clearly, its cooldown lasts several minutes. Ha ha ha. The assassin believes my useful skill is unavailable. He circles just outside my reach and presses his advantage, asking, "Now what are you going to do?" I lower my weapon slightly and let him mistake patience for helplessness. The assassin activates his concealment with a sharp command. Stealth. His body vanishes, leaving only disturbed dust where he stood. I understand his gamble immediately. He is racing against the cooldown of my detection skill, expecting to kill me before I can expose him again. I listen instead of chasing the fading outline. His footsteps disappear, but his voice glides through the darkness behind me. The assassin mocks, "Trying to run away? Do you not think it is already too late?" I keep moving, as though his position remains hidden. A sudden rush of air reveals the attack before the blade reaches me. The assassin erupts from concealment with a killing cry. "Die!" I pivot aside at the final instant and drive my defense into his weapon. Metal crashes against metal, and his supposedly certain strike slides harmlessly past my chest. His confidence breaks before his invisibility does. The attack fails. "This is impossible. How can you possibly see through my clone?" The trick is simpler than he thinks. You guessed correctly. My skill can detect movement, but I never use it. This blocks your attack instead. As for my ultrasonic sonar, it tells me your fake clone produces no echo. Disbelief seizes the assassin as his hidden attack fails again. He stumbles backward and demands, "How is that possible? What happened to your stealth?" Flames spread over the assassin's false body, outlining every movement against the darkness. I keep pressure on him and watch the burning silhouette attempt to fade. The fire clings to every limb, exposing the trick even when the body turns translucent. I point toward the blazing outline and say, "I would like to see you hide this. How can a clone become invisible when its entire body is on fire?" His escape skill activates, but the flames continue racing through empty air in the exact shape of his retreat. His escape collapses, and panic breaks through. "Who are you? Release me right now." The assassin desperately bargains. "Name your price. Take all the gold, every business, and all the money you want. Anything can be yours. Please don't kill me." The begging continues without pause. "Please, spare me." He reaches for one final shield. The general's mansion stands behind me. Pinned and stripped of every escape route, the assassin abandons threats of skill and reaches for status instead. He strains against my hold, insisting that powerful people stand behind him. When that fails to move me, fear finally enters his voice. He shouts, "You cannot kill me." I tighten my grip and study the man who murders weaker professionals for amusement. His confidence vanishes now that the difference in power runs against him. The ruins offer no rescue, and the survivors make no attempt to defend him. I answer his final plea by raising my hand over him. Fire gathers around my palm as I invoke, "Sacrifice Heartfire." The assassin's remaining power condenses into a new technique before me. I recognize the reward and announce, "Ghostly Clone." The duplicate carries his deceptive movement, but the greater prize I wanted is absent. I examine the ability once more and sigh. I gain his clone technique, yet none of his true stealth skill survives the sacrifice. I uncover 3 S-grade items with top-quality enchantments. Beside the assassin's body, I inspect his equipment. 3 gold-grade items protect every weakness of his class. Reinforced armor disperses direct impacts, while his accessories support both speed and survival. I finally understand how an assassin withstands a warrior's damage. Turning one piece beneath the light, I say, no wonder he survives those blows. This kind of wealth is extraordinary. A small pulse of energy rises from the recovered equipment. I pause over an unexpected mark, turn the item toward the light, and murmur, the details suggest the spoils are even better than they first appear. The surviving awakener stares at the result. The assassin is dead. Thank you, benefactor. The thanks barely ends before my order follows. Take me to your teammates. Burning the murderer's body alone cannot bury every clue. The reason is unavoidable. The dead can still speak. Every remaining clue becomes the fuse for a wealthy family's revenge. Beside the wounded team, a corpse suddenly names the killer and erupts into wild laughter. The survivors recoil as the dead voice cries, "Ha ha ha," again. A desperate voice calls across the group, "Captain! Captain! There is no mana left." Beside the wounded captain, the healer's spell fails. He stares at his empty focus and cries, "Why does the mana run out at this crucial moment?" Beside the wounded captain, the healer's hands fall as the final trace of mana fades. Bowing his head, the healer apologizes, "Captain, I am sorry. Keeping you alive is all I can manage." Enduring his shattered limbs, the captain answers, "Surviving is enough." The remaining teammates silently gather their dead and damaged equipment. His condition is severe. Both arms and legs are broken. A priest with blood regeneration at level 5 or higher can heal these injuries, but can you afford one? Among the exhausted survivors, someone calculates the only treatment that can restore the wounded man's limbs. His expression darkens before he explains, "A level 5 priest costs at least 2 million dragon coins." The others fall silent at the amount. He adds, "The treatment must also happen within 1 month. After that, even the right healing skill may not restore him." That deadline leaves only one conclusion, so there is no time to grieve. All 3 golden artifacts have top-tier descriptions. On the black market, they should fetch nearly 800,000 dragon coins. That money offers a chance. Do not sell them in the capital. Find a concealed route to another black market. The wounded awakener accepts the help. "Thank you, benefactor. Please leave your name." Scott presses his wound and says, "You saved my life." Their debts balance, and names are better left unknown. The danger remains after his death. That man is no ordinary person. Someone will certainly investigate. Afterward, never mention him or what happens here. Before I leave the survivors, the captain searches through his belongings and produces a worn map. Holding it toward me with both hands, he says, "I have no way to repay your kindness. Please accept this map." Before I leave, the captain unfolds the worn map and explains, "Our team leader discovers this map when we enter the dungeon. It marks the route to the main hall." I study the map and ask, "There is another level below?" The captain answers, "The Awakener Guild already reaches the 2nd level." The explanation continues. That is one of the 4 major guilds. Their leader, S-Rank professional Vince, commands the team. Their raiding speed is beyond ours. Walter, an Awakener from another organization, also leads a raiding group here. Along another dungeon passage, a scout reports on the rival force. He warns, although those lunatics arrive late, they move like dogs smelling blood. Their progress already matches the major Awakener guilds. The raiding group quickens its pace. Along the dungeon passage, another raider adds, "My brother spots the corporate group outside. Why would such wealthy forces enter an ordinary dungeon? All 3 giants of the city are here. Hurry, even if we miss the boss, the side palace may still hold treasure chests." Studying the routes ahead, I connect the arriving forces. The Awakener organization commits experienced fighters and scouts. Corporate group Polygroup brings equally serious manpower. Another major guild races toward the central hall. Groups carrying that wealth never gather for common loot. Their convergence points towards something hidden below. I fold the map and conclude, something is definitely wrong with this dungeon. I spread the captain's map across a flat stone. Every marked corridor connects with several hidden branches. At first, the route resembles an emergency escape path. Then I trace each detour with my finger. One branch enters a storage chamber before reconnecting. Another passes burial rooms and a guarded treasury. Symbols identify traps, patrols, locks, and concealed shortcuts. A real escape route would avoid those dangers. This map deliberately visits every valuable location instead. It bypasses strong monster groups whenever possible. However, it never bypasses loot or sealed chambers. I compare the markings against corridors already cleared. Several nearby treasuries remain completely untouched by rivals. The route even circles behind the central tomb. Following it lets one person collect everything efficiently. Excitement replaces my remaining caution about the map. I tap the final line and announce, "This is not an escape map. It is a treasure map for emptying the entire tomb." While rival forces fight above, I can strip every chamber below. Following the map, I enter another concealed chamber. Burial goods remain stacked beside an untouched stone platform. A small piece of jewelry gleams among them. I lift it, and two energies answer immediately. One current strengthens my body and physical balance. The other sharpens power flowing through my skills. Finding two attributes together is already remarkably rare. The workmanship places this piece near perfect quality. I inspect every setting and confirm no hidden flaw. Its magical tags remain stable beneath my touch. Then I check the equipment requirement carefully. Only one additional level separates me from using it. After everything gained here, that obstacle feels trivial. I turn the jewelry beneath the chamber's pale light. Both attributes will reinforce my next major advancement. Satisfaction rises as I imagine wearing it soon. Holding it against my palm, I say, top quality dual attribute jewelry, and I am only one level away from equipping it. I store it securely with the assassin equipment. The map keeps leading me toward prizes others expect. New strength surges through every muscle and joint. My breathing becomes lighter as the reward settles. Energy answers each thought without the slightest delay. I flex my hand and test the difference. Unable to contain my excitement, I exclaim, "This feeling is absolutely amazing." Deeper along the hidden route, I picture my rivals. Vince and Walter still lead their forces above ground. Their groups bring money, numbers, and impressive reputations, yet they must clear every visible chamber manually. Meanwhile, the map carries me beneath their advance. Each shortcut places another treasury within my reach. Their scouts cannot even locate these concealed entrances. I secure the newest reward and laugh quietly. The distance between our gains continues expanding rapidly. Looking toward the stone ceiling, I call, "Vince, Walter, keep clearing the ground with those city giants. Slowly eat my dust while I take everything below." Their forces can absorb every risk above. I turn toward the next marked chamber. Another unclaimed reward waits before they catch up. The next corridor narrows into a killing ground. 3 enemies wait in a practiced formation. One anchors the center with a heavy weapon. Another controls every opening above my shoulders. The third attacks low and targets my footing. Their positions leave no route around them. I approach once, testing their coordinated reactions. A projectile forces my guard sharply upward. The low attacker immediately sweeps toward my legs. I retreat before the central fighter can thrust. Every attack guides me directly toward another strike. Breaking one angle simply exposes a different weakness. I glance behind me, but detours offer nothing. The map confirms this corridor is unavoidable. Amusement mixes with irritation as they reset. I raise my weapon and tell them, 3 fighters form up against 1 traveler. That is seriously troublesome. Their next coordinated barrage answers me immediately. The upper attack drives my guard high again. A low sweep removes my safest landing position. The central weapon waits wherever I might dodge. I twist between them and strike one shaft aside. Landing against the wall, I barely avoid impalement. They return to formation without any hesitation. This rhythm is clearly practiced, not accidental. I study the pause between their combined movements. When both angled attacks cross, I grin. Pointing my blade forward, I say, above and below, without any gap, "You have practiced this professionally." Another volley begins, and I charge into it. A barrage meets my charge inside the corridor. Projectiles pour through the narrow space without pause. The first glances away from my raised weapon. I duck beneath another shot aimed at my throat. A third projectile slices painfully across my shoulder. Before I recover, the formation changes its pattern. The upper attacker targets every possible head movement. Below, sweeping strikes deny me stable footing. More shots hammer my guard and force hesitation. I advance one step, then lose half of it. The central fighter waits behind the overlapping storm. If I reach him weakened, his weapon finishes me. Retreating only lets all 3 reset their pattern. I knock aside another projectile and lower myself. 2 more streak past from opposing angles. Their timing becomes faster with every attempted step. Forcing my weight forward, I shout, "Rapid fire? Do you truly want me dead here?" The response is another relentless wave of attacks. I protect my vital points and keep advancing. Their formation must break before my defense does. Under the barrage, I stop conserving my strength. Heat races through my blood and muscles. The rising power hardens my body against impact. I plant one foot firmly against the stone. Gathering everything for one charge, I shout, "Beast blood boiling." Then I drive directly into the crossing attacks. Breaking through the crossing attacks, I reach them. My strike tears into the nearest defender's side. Their careful rhythm collapses under the sudden impact. The wounded enemy crashes backward against the wall. Clutching the wound, he screams, "Ah!" The other 2 lose their protected attacking angles. With their formation broken, I pursue immediately. The upper attacker drops from his protected position. I drive between both survivors before they reset. A low sweep flashes toward my exposed legs. Heated strength carries me cleanly above the weapon. I land beside the central fighter and pivot. His guard turns, but my strike arrives first. The impact throws him against the corridor wall. Only the final attacker remains between me and passage. One desperate projectile streaks beside my shoulder. I cross the remaining distance before another launches. A clean blow ends the final resistance instantly. Silence returns while the fallen weapons settle. Beast blood boiling still pulses through my body. Then accumulated energy surges beyond its previous barrier. The pressure climbs, breaks through and stabilizes smoothly. Fresh strength replaces much of my exhaustion. I check my condition and confirm the advancement. Lowering my weapon briefly, I say advanced. Everything is done. Movement stirs somewhere beyond the defeated formation. I raise my weapon again and continue forward. A new threat ignites before I enjoy advancing. The Lulan Jade Guard releases its heartfire. Burning life force becomes a burst of lethal speed. The glowing figure launches before I fully turn. Its weapon crosses the distance almost without warning. I shift my guard and brace for impact. Recognizing the sacrifice, I warn myself. The Lulan Jade Guard burns its heartfire. This attack is swift and extremely difficult to dodge. Instead of retreating, I enter the burning charge. Power gathers around my weapon with every step. I align its point against the incoming guard. Driving forward at full speed, I shout, "Enhanced Step Thrust." Step Thrust becomes Thunder Thrust. The cost appears as my attack settles. Checking the reserve, I mutter, "Only 45 fire value remains. The cooldown is 10 seconds. Inside the main hall, heavy armor grinds beyond the surviving guards. Corrupted energy rolls through their ranks as a larger warrior approaches. The lesser enemies close around it, clearing space for its weapon. I recognize the formation and raise my shield. Here comes their main damage dealer, the corrupted general. It drags its blade across the stone, scattering sparks. My strongest skills are still recovering, and my remaining fire value is low. Behind the general, fallen guards begin twitching under the corrupted light. I brace for the charge and laugh tensely. Corrupted energy keeps entering every fallen guard. Their armor begins twitching across the bloody stones. I imagine the entire formation rising behind the general. My strongest abilities remain unavailable during their cooldowns. The possibility chills me more than its weapon. Stepping away from the glowing bodies, I mutter, "If they all return to life, my life is over." The general's pressure keeps rising instead of fading. Fallen guards stir behind its advancing silhouette. I take another careful step toward the exit. Then I lower my weapon with exaggerated courtesy. Offering the general a shallow bow, I say, "Oh, sorry to bother you." My retreat starts before the corrupted army surrounds me. Sensing the general's terrifying aura, I finally realize this powerhouse could be SS rank. Staying here would only get me killed. Elsewhere in the dungeon, rival forces race forward. The Awakener Guild and Awakener Organization abandon caution. Scouts report that the central tomb lies ahead. Commanders immediately leave slower reserve teams behind. Wounded fighters receive no time to regroup. One leader raises his weapon above the ranks. Pointing toward the upper passage, he orders, "Ignore the reserve teams. Charge straight into the main hall." Frontline fighters surge past unfinished side chambers. Neither force intends to surrender the central treasure. Their race becomes faster as the passage narrows. At the upper passage's end, scouts reach the towering doors. Golden light spills through the seams, revealing a weapon near the entrance. One scout raises his arm and shouts, "A level 50 gold weapon. The main hall is just ahead." Fighters surge forward before checking for traps. Another scout waves toward the approaching commanders. "Brother, the main hall is right there." The rival force crowds into the narrowing corridor, each fighter desperate to reach the treasure first. Inside the main hall, the searching force finds its scout. He stands beside an ancient chariot near the wall. Another teammate notices what waits behind the vehicle. Pointing excitedly, he cries, "We found him! 3 treasure chests are behind the chariot." The entire group rushes toward the discovery. Before the ancient chariot, excitement grips the raiders. Their leader laughs and pushes through the crowd. Waving toward the discovery, he orders, "Lead the way and show me those chests." All 3 appear untouched behind the chariot. Heavy old locks still protect their contents. The leader scans his companions with growing impatience. Spotting no specialist nearby, he demands, "Where is the thief-class professional? Bring him here to unlock them." Then he turns toward his nearest companion. Gesturing at the chests, he asks, "What god-tier equipment do you think waits inside?" Beside the locked chests, I turn toward Laura and see anticipation brighten her face. Resting one hand on my artifact, I reassure her, "Do not worry, Laura. Any usable mage item we find will strengthen my artifact first." She nods and watches the locks with renewed excitement. At the chariot, the thief studies the ancient lock. His tools hover while the impatient leader watches. A wasted moment sharpens the leader's anger. Striding closer, he jabs toward the chest and snaps, "Thief, why are you dawdling? Open it now." The first lock gives way, and the heavy lid rises. Everyone leans forward, expecting golden equipment or a rare artifact. Bare wood waits inside. The leader stares into the vacant chest and exclaims, "This is impossible. It is empty?" He searches the corners, then points at the remaining 2. "Open those for me. Ha 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 ha. The treasure must be in one of them." At the chamber, the leader boasts about crushing Walter's Awakener organization underfoot. Inside the main hall, the last chest stands completely empty. Their leader searches every corner without finding anything. He wheels upon the uneasy raiders and demands, "Could someone appear from nowhere and beat us here?" Nobody answers, yet he rejects the impossible silence. Pointing at the chest, the leader snarls, "The guild leaders issued a death order. The item must be here. This hall cannot be empty." Meanwhile, beyond the main hall, I examine my prizes. The first item immediately quickens every measured step. Its enchantment raises movement speed by 50%. A second effect lets me vanish into stealth. I trigger it, and my outline disappears completely. Even my footsteps soften against the ancient stone. Pursuit, escape, and ambush suddenly become much easier. I grin at such perfect killing and looting gear. Then a cold gleam catches my attention. I draw an elegant sword from my storage. Frosty light travels along its flawless cutting edge. Unable to resist, I murmur, "What a beautiful sword." Its attributes make the beauty even more astonishing. Over 1,000 attack power fills the display. The weapon requires level 50 to wield properly. Its name appears as Lord of Death Sword. This is no common prize, but golden equipment. The quality surpasses lost, brilliant, and extraordinary items. It even reaches epic, crossing 2 entire realms. One final effect turns admiration into stunned silence. Activation restores half of every nearby ally's health. The range extends across 1,000 full meters. With that reach, I can reverse an entire guild war. I understand why the Awakener organization, Awakener Guild, and corporate group mobilize. They all seek the Eagle Tiger Talisman, but this is only its yin half. To complete the Eagle Tiger Talisman, I must locate its yang half. In the main hall, rage overtakes reason. The leader kicks an empty chest across stone. He wheels toward his waiting raiders. Pointing at the walls, he roars, "Pry open every single brick. We pushed this far. This place cannot be empty." "Vince, you're rushing ahead, and you're confused." Beside the chariot, one raider points toward the coffin. He asks, "Shouldn't the general's finest treasure rest inside his own coffin?" Laughter follows. "Ha ha ha, of course. Who doesn't take treasures into their coffin? The thing our guild wants must be right here." Vince orders, "Brothers, open the coffin." Another man finds it immovable and warns him, "A boss will definitely spawn inside. Maybe reconsider. There is no need to risk our lives for this mission." A raider scoffs, "Why worry? 40 branch elites can overwhelm him together." Before the sealed coffin, icy energy begins gathering. The caster plants his feet and raises his weapon. Frost races down the blade, whitening nearby stone. Other raiders retreat from the sharpening frozen aura. With both hands, the caster swings and shouts, "Activate Yuanbing Slash." A crescent of ice smashes into the lid. The coffin answers the slash with life. Damn it, it's alive after all. Before the opened coffin, panic breaks the raiders' formation. Their leader charges ahead, raises his weapon and shouts, "Everyone, stay calm, prepare to fight the boss." Shields lock around him while healers and ranged fighters take position. Pointing at the advancing general, he orders, "Go! Let us see what this general is worth." In front of the coffin, concentrated magic explodes. Light engulfs the Lulan general from every side. The raiders brace for its health to collapse. Instead, the glowing measure barely shifts at all. One caster stares at the miserable damage reading. His confidence vanishes as the general advances untouched. Clutching his focus, he cries, "Less than 100? That is an S-level damage skill." Nearby fighters lower their weapons in sudden disbelief. Smoke peels away from the general's polished armor. Before the stunned raiders can recover, pressure floods the hall. One appraiser checks the enemy and turns pale. He points at the advancing general and shouts, "That is a level 50, gold-level boss." Fear runs through every rank of the formation. Frontline fighters raise shields with trembling arms. The general lifts its weapon above their heads. Its golden aura rolls across the ancient stones. Now everyone understands their failed attack. Even an S-level skill barely scratches this enemy. Several fighters retreat until their heels strike the coffin. Across the battered front line, defenders remain standing. Their leader waves frantically toward the rear. He orders, "Back row healers, keep up. Let nobody die. Unless one strike kills them, we still have hope." Across the strained formation, the leader spots an opening. He sweeps his weapon toward the advancing general. Planting his feet, the leader commands, "All damage classes, unleash everything now." Spells and projectiles surge over the shields. Above the battlefield, I watch the raiders close in. Golden pressure rolls from the Lulan general below. Their leader still drives everyone toward a frontal clash. I fold my arms, astonished by his recklessness. The general meets their attacks without yielding ground. Watching spells burst uselessly across its armor, I scoff. A level 50, gold-level boss, and he still dares attack head-on? This should become quite a show.